Hey Arya, lovely to have you here. You are one of our originals, which means you started when we started, right?
Yes.
How has it been?
It's been an amazing journey. I think it started in 2018 or 19, I forget now. But from the student to becoming a TA now, it's been really enriching, and I've learned a lot. Surrounded myself with very smart people, and that's helped me a lot.
So, first thing that I wanted to ask you was that you went through what people are doing in roughly, I don't know, 3 months to 6 months. You did with us in 10 days,
Yeah.
right? So, how did it feel when you became a TA and you saw students doing the same amount of material in many months instead of just 10, 15 days?
Yeah, I think now it's a lot more structured. I mean, we have defined lectures and exercises and labs and everything. But the 10 days that we spent from morning till the night, right? So both experiences were good. It also, the kind of 10 days also had some excitement to it, that we were kind of gaining so much information in such a small period of time. But now it's a lot more structured. So I think that will be kind of beneficial in the long term. We have resources that students can go back to, which we didn't have at the time.
So I'm curious, did going through very similar material again as a teacher actually make you learn further and learn more?
Definitely. I mean, you don't know the subject until you've taught it. That's what I believe. And even while teaching it, the way that students ask questions or kind of respond to certain material being taught a certain way gets you thinking about things that you haven't thought of before. You think about a particular topic in a different way, right? If someone else comes and asks you a question.
So you are at least the second person who thinks this way, because the first one who said so was Richard Feynman. So you're in good company. Yeah. Problem solving. How do you rate that as a data science skill? Like in the array of skills that a data scientist or AI person must have, where do you rate problem solving, generalized problem solving?
I would rate it very high. I think machine learning and AI is an application field. And regardless where you're from, whether you're from a STEM background or an arts background, everyone can understand machine learning, at least the theoretical aspects. Of course, the statistical and mathematical background is a little bit more dense. But being an application field, anyone from any background can understand it. So, understanding Python or any other programming language, I would say is secondary, because as long as you are a problem solver and you give it the time that it requires, everyone can learn it, regardless of your background.
But don't you think that at least the tools like Python are prerequisite, because otherwise you'll be hampered in your learning?
Yes, I think it is prerequisite, but that is something that someone can pick up on. And you can take a course. Like, for example, we have the PyDS course, right? Which is really good, which prepares you for our master's course. It's something that you can learn easier than problem solving and having that kind of a brain.
So curious about how what you studied prepares you for research, because you've done research alongside your work here. You work with Professor Parot, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about that a little bit.
How my kind of studies works in is, I think, entire your schooling and your college and everything, you don't really study the subject. I think you learn how to learn. Actually, like that's what college and your schooling is teaching you. So I think, research is all about that, right? Trying to trying to get something or learn something to its very core, right? So your schooling and your college and everything, you just need to learn how to learn, and you'll be set. You can do anything after that. So you don't need to study a particular subject to kind of do. I think the prerequisite of research is just being willing to learn. And
so are you essentially saying that you could have been a researcher even without having studied what you studied?
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. Studying itself is teaching me. I'm learning how to learning how to study, right? So that helps in research. Whether I studied, one particular subject or versus another, that contributes very minutely towards research. I think it's about how you learn and how you study.
Okay.
more than the subject itself.
Okay. So further to your time as a TA here, right? And you've almost been that for a year.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was the biggest thing that you noticed in your journey? What has meant the most to you?
I think what we discussed earlier about how teaching has made me understand the subject to a different level, it really opens up your mind into different interpretations, different understandings, and you dig deeper into a subject that you think that you already know, but some student comes up to you and asks you a question, and you say, "Whoa, I hadn't kind of thought about it that way." And that makes you think on a different level. So that has been the most.
What about your relationships with the students? What's happened in the past 1 year?
So my relationships with the students has been great. I mean, even being online, I've made. All of the TAs have made an effort to connect with the students. On a human level, other than just a student TA kind of relationship, and it's been really kind of nice to hear about their background and where they are coming from and how they have dealt with their data science or machine learning journey, and kind of compare it to mine.
Unlike, for example, a well-known graduate institution, let's pick, because Pavlos is from Harvard, let's say Harvard, that here you guys have to be available to attend to the students almost 24/7, right? How does that feel? I mean, do you feel burdened, or do you feel sort of happy that you're able to help people out? How does that work?
I'm definitely happy. So one of my personal goals is to eventually become a professor or a teacher of some kind. And it not only has benefits, as I again mentioned, it makes me understand the subject more. It's also very nice to see that you are putting someone on a path that they wouldn't have been on, probably, right? So I think that has also kind of helped me with this whole TA journey.
So I think officially, Arya, you've been with us longer than anyone else at this very moment, right? From summer of 19 to, what is it now? 2022. So is it almost 3 years, or am I doing my math wrong?
Yes, 3 years.
3 years. Well, that's a long time. So what's your sort of fondest or best memory from the summer of 2019?
Fondest memory. I think, this is not about academics, but we all did go out to dinner after the entire 10 days got over.
That we did.
Yes, so that was very fun. I got to know the people that I was spending 12 hours with a little bit better. I got to know the professors and you better. So I think that would be my fondest memory. Yeah.
But what about the rest of the 10, 15 days?
So towards the end, Dr. Rahul had conducted a hackathon. So we had to kind of group up and we competed. So that was also really fun because that was kind of implementing everything that we had learned, everything that we had crammed into those 10 days. We could implement it, whatever, different models, different data viz, data analysis. So that was very fun.
And after that, you've been with us for another sort of 2 years plus, alongside first your work at Schneider, then full-time with us. And you've done a bunch of stuff. You'll be a TA, you've done course development, you've done research. So highlights from there?
TA, I think we recently, the course development and everything, that has really opened my eyes on how a professor actually runs the course and what all you need to think about while explaining a concept, and what all you need to think about, what questions you can anticipate and answer to questions. That is one thing that I kind of learned being a TA and doing course development. Doing research, it's a lot harder than you think it is, but it's also very fun. And getting that output or seeing what you wanted to for the past 3 months is very satisfying. That feeling is kind of irreplaceable. You don't get the same feeling in any other other job, I think. So doing that for my research was very fulfilling.
So you've been in undergrad, and then after that, the only real institution you have been with us.
Right.
How does it feel? So contrast your experiences learning as an undergrad and then being here.
Learning as an undergrad was obviously very structured. We had classes that we attend to, we had particular time slots. And the relationship between a professor and a student is very different in at least an Indian undergraduate institution. But learning with Univ, we, got to know, there was a lot more on hands kind of implementation. We were taught something and then we immediately implemented it, which kind of solidified our understanding, which I didn't get as much in my undergraduate institution. And also the professor and student relationship was a little bit more relaxed. Like you could connect and you could talk to them and, not be as afraid as you are in a traditional
an adult peer relationship.
Yes, an adult peer relationship, yeah. So that was what was different.
So if, as someone who's been through the length of this entire time that we've been around, what would you say to somebody else who were, looking to join us?
It's an amazing experience. You get to act as a student, and if you do well, you also get to act as a TA. And both of those experiences is something that I think you should definitely have. It will really open up your mind and it will give you an experience that you don't get anywhere else, at least in India, right? You don't get that kind of an experience anywhere else. So, and you learn a lot of things. You can experience how different people perceive different things. It's something that I haven't experienced before joining Univ.
What's next for you? Though we'd like you to be with us forever, but I guess you will also have a life to live.
Yeah.
So what's coming up next?
So I'm planning to apply for my master's degree very soon in the field of data science. I'm applying mostly to the US and a few colleges in Europe. So I'm looking forward to that and working towards that.
And do you have an alternative? What if you decide not to go for a master's?
I hope to remain in a research role wherever I am. I think that's very fulfilling. And again, one of my longer term goals is to become an instructor or a professor somewhere. So.
Well, lovely to have chatted with you today, and good luck to your future endeavors. Hope we can tempt you to stay with us a bit longer, but then once you have to move on, you have to. So thanks a ton.
Thank you so much.